If you guys didn't see it, looks like the United States administration announced a pause on LNG or liquefied natural gas exports heading to Europe and Asia. And it's all in the name of climate change. So if we take a look, coming straight from the website, it says Biden-Harris administration announces temporary pause on pending approvals for liquefied natural gas exports. And if we take a look, it says the administration is announcing a temporary pause on pending decisions on exports of LNG to non-FTA countries until the Department of Energy can update the underlying analysis for authorizations. They say that the ones that are already approved and going right now will continue on. This is just for new stuff. We just never know what this stuff actually is going to end up with. Says the current economic and environmental analysis of the Department of Energy uses to underpin the LNG exports authorizations are roughly 5 years old and no longer adequate, et cetera, et cetera. If we go down, it says the pause, which is subject to exception for unanticipated and immediate national security emergencies, will provide the time to integrate these critical considerations, which has to do with pollution and climate change. Perilous impacts of methane on our planet and all that stuff. We're not going to read the entire thing. I don't see it necessary. They're pausing new authorizations in the name of climate change. That's basically what's going on with this. Now, there's two things I want to point out on this. The first is what everybody will recognize, obviously, has to do with the climate change aspect of all this. What has been the main point wrapped into the agenda since the establishment of pretty much the Club of Rome is still clearly making its presence here. If you guys don't remember, back in 1968, Club of Rome released their book about how we have to protect the environment, protect the planet, all these jambalaya, mumbo jumbo of climate change, the environment, save the world type of stuff. Has nothing to do with science or anything like that. It just has to do with the fact of using that to make their agenda go through to continue to build the system that they want to. Ultimately, we see the beast system coming forth, and we see it here. Now, this also reveals the thumbprint of mystery religion, Revelation 17 again, as well as a possible large-scale energy and economic change through the planet Gaia religion aspect of this. Possible. I say possible because, again, this stuff changes so fast, you never know. Now, so we see that. We got the mystery religion that is clearly wrapped up in what they're trying to do with this agenda. The other aspect of this that I want to look at that I think might be important, I've just been keeping an eye on this, and it might be important, is Israel's involvement with LNG exports to Europe. Now, things have obviously gotten a little wacky in this area of things due to the ongoing war. But even with that situation, there are still talks going on about Israel ramping up their LNG exports. Now, this actually comes from today. Today, Israeli energy minister speaks with Italian counterpart on possible export of liquefied natural gas to Italy. Energy Minister Eli Cohen speaks with his Italian counterpart, Gilberto Pachetto Fratin, I guess, by phone. It's me, Mario, pizza. Okay. And discusses the possibility of exporting LNG to Italy. The two also discuss cooperating in the development of maritime renewable energies, a field in which Italy has significant experience compared to Israel. If we keep going, it says Cohen thanks Fratin for his support of Israel during the war against Hamas. Italy is a key ally in our region, says Cohen, according to the Israeli readout. And the energy agreement between the countries that will be signed this year, that's right, this year, will strengthen Israel's energy stability and independence and increase Israel's connectivity to Europe. Israel and Italy are both members of the Eastern Mediterranean Gas Forum. Okay. So even with the war going on, and there's been some pauses. If you guys don't know, Israel has the Leviathan gas thing. The word just escaped my mind. Field. There we go. As well as another one, Talar. I think it's Talar, one of those, and a couple other smaller ones. But the Talar one, I think it's Talar. Don't quote me on that. It starts with a T, and I know that. but that paused for a little bit. And if you guys don't know, what goes on is they send the gas into a port into Egypt, and then they turn it into liquefied natural gas, and Egypt exports it out. Israel also provides gas to Jordan, which never stopped, even with this war thing, even though Jordan has been vehemently opposed to Israel. And they also provide to a couple other areas in the Middle East as well. But they've been working on for several years now. I've been talking about this since like 2022 about increasing LNG gas into Europe, and it really kicked into overdrive when the Ukraine-Russia thing happened, because there's a lot of uncertainty about Russian gas getting into Europe, and so Israel decided they're going to step in and take some of that export, and then they're increasing it now. So even with the war that's going on right now, which if you guys don't know, wartime, a lot of the time they just reserve their own gas. They shut down exports to keep the gas in their own country for the war effort. Even during this time, even with a pause that happened, it's up and running again now. They're still looking to expand and export their gas. Now, this could be pretty big when it comes to prophecy. Could be. I'm not saying it is, but it could be pretty big. Now, something else to keep in mind is not only have they been trying to increase the stuff, but they've been trying to talk about getting a pipeline done into Europe as well. So it will go directly into Europe and won't have to pass through Egypt. There's been some talks with Turkey and all that stuff, which, yeah, that's not good. But they're talking about getting a direct pipeline. And so before the war, literally right before, a month before the war, if we take a look, Prime Minister, decision on route for exporting natural gas to Europe expected in 3 to 6 months. This has to do with a direct pipeline. And it says Israel is inching closer to finalizing plans for exporting natural gas to Europe with a decision on transportation route expected within the next 3 to 6 months. This was September of last year, so right before everything exploded. Now, Bibi said on Monday, after meeting with his Greek and Cypriot counterparts, Nicosia has pressed Israel to come to a deal, and Bibi said the Greeks and Cypriots favor a shortened pipeline that would pump gas from Israel to a liquefaction terminal, there we go, in Cyprus, from where it would then be shipped onward to Europe. So basically like what they got going on in Egypt already, where they send the gas into Egypt and then they turn it into LNG, they want to do that with Cyprus. The proposed terminal is an alternate to the American-backed Eastern Mediterranean pipeline, which would send gas from Israel to Cyprus and then to Greece. So they want to shorten the pipeline ultimately, where it would end with the system that turns it into liquid in Cyprus, and then Cyprus would just send it off into Greece and then into Europe from there, rather than just sending a pipeline all the way to Greece and whatnot. Now, this is important. 1, cheaper. 2, a lot quicker to get it done. Seriously, like it would cut it in half to get that construction done on that. And 3, a lot more feasible and easier to agree with all the nations that would need to be approved with it. So that's a big thing that was going on right before this war. And with the news we just got today from about Israel already talking to Italy, saying we're going to talk about getting this stuff going, even with all that we got going on, that's important. Now, along with Israel's environment-rich land includes major LNG resources, which has already played a part in replacing some of the gas issues from the Ukraine stuff that's been going on. Now, where does all this take us? I just gave you a lot of stuff about different countries, people, gas, all this stuff. Taco Bell's not involved, not that type of gas. Anyways, with less exports from the U.S. to Europe because of what they just froze, will it actually finalize? How long will that go? We don't know, so we can't really judge that. This is still something we need to pay attention to, though. But with less exports from the U.S. to Europe and Asia, Israel may step up even further into that area of exporting gas. So why am I bringing this up? Ezekiel 38. Now, this is an area, again, I've been watching for several years, and I've watched Israel progressively become more and more of an LNG player in the world, and it's only increasing. I just showed some of the stuff, how they really want to keep this going. Now, in Ezekiel 38, it speaks about how God will place hooks, plural, in the jaws plural, so we got plural here, of Ezekiel 38 countries: Russia, Turkey, Iran, Libya, Sudan, and bring them upon Israel for spoils, plunder, and booty. What does all that mean? God is going to hook these specific countries that will invade Israel for the purpose of taking what they have. And we understand Israel is a very rich country when it comes to resources. Um, LNG being one of them, but they've got a lot of salt, they've got a lot of gold, they've got a lot of artwork. Some of the stuff people don't really even pay attention to, but this is all spoils to people. And God is going to hook these countries into doing that. Now, if Israel continues to increase the productivity of their oil or their gas and export it all across the country, that's going to be a big hook for these countries. So we understand that that's when God's going to make his presence known to the world again, which that is another sign that this will happen after the rapture of the church. Because while the church is here, the restrainer, the Holy Spirit, this is the church age. That's why God doesn't do things like burning all the bushes and the tower of fires and stuff like that, because of the age that we're in. Well, when the rapture of the church happens, the age is done. God's going to make himself reveal again. So that's another sign of what's going to happen. So this isn't something I'm saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but this is not clearly, I shouldn't say that. This could be a step towards being a hook in that jaw when the time comes, because they are looking to expand this. Now, it's important to note here that even with the chaos in the Middle East, Israel is still working on becoming an energy giant. And Ezekiel 38 displays Israel as unwalled peace or tranquility when those hooks are placed. So that tells us that all of the chaos in the Middle East, Israel's got to end that, if you catch my drift. And so that's another indicator of, the season that we're in on what we're seeing. So that's obviously gotta be done, taken care of. And then this stuff could start happening, which time wise could plan out perfectly with the if they end the war and they're at peace. At the same time, they've been progressively getting bigger with their spoils on the LNG and stuff. That's something to keep in mind. If Israel continues to grow in LNG spoils and continues to increase supplies to Europe, I do still believe that we will be that will be one of the hooks for the invasion, along with other things. Again, hooks, multiple. There's going to be multiple things: spoils, plunder, booty, and all that type of stuff. So keep an eye on the energy LNG news coming out of Israel. I understand. Trust me, I understand. It's not particularly exciting to keep an eye on gas news. But this is something that could play a part. So again, specifically watch Israel in this thing and see what's going to happen. If they're going to continue to progress, this thing with Italy could be big. The agreement that they're trying to get on this pipeline, how soon are they going to get that done? They're still trying to get other LNG fields up and running, gas fields up and running. So just keep an eye on what's going on with that. I'm definitely going to be watching, because I think, and I've been saying this for years, I truly believe that this gas thing is going to be one of the major hooks to draw in Ezekiel 38. I said it from the beginning, and I'm saying it now. I really do believe it's going to be one of the things. And I understand it's not exciting. I get it, but could be a major factor.